Hey, what's up, guys? So, I was actually honestly thinking about Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter, all the Street Fighter games. And hot take, hot take. I think Street Fighter 4 might honestly be the best Street Fighter game that we've ever had, and honestly, the best Street Fighter game we ever will get now. Now, what I don't mean that Street Fighter 4 was absolutely the best level and it was the most technical game and was the best balanced game at a competitive level ever. I don't know. I don't mean that. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's the best game ever. It was competitively flawed. It was this and that." And it was. There were things about it that were not perfect, and there were some things about the low levelness of it as well that were not perfect. So on both ends of that spectrum, I'm acknowledging that um, the high levels of play stuff weren't that great at the end, or in its overall form with Evil Ryu, Elena, where it was at the end of the lifespan in competitive light. Okay, wasn't the greatest, and then where it was at a lower level, jab, 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 but everything, that kind of stuff. That also wasn't perfect, but where I think it is perfect, and I think is very important, is where it was all together, where that middle ground came, right? So it had a lot of everything for everyone, and it did that very well. And that's what I mean is so. For example, in every aspect is what I mean. So I'm talking about the casual. I'm talking about the story mode. I'm talking about the training mode. I'm talking about the competitiveness of it. I'm talking about the casual side to get new players into the game. I'm talking about the PR responses from Capcom. I'm talking about the flow of digital content. I'm talking about all of that in a bundle, which is what an experience of a game is now. So when you buy a game, you want it to be great off the rip. You want it to be fun. You want it to be good. You want a good flow of content, right? You want things kind of coming into the game, keeping your interest, gauging the scene. You want to have things to make it accessible. You don't want to learn combos and do all this, but at the same time, you also want it to be competitive as a hardcore player. You want things that draw you into it as a hardcore competitive person. You want everything to come together. You want to be able to unlock colors and have it be a smooth process for your characters. You want to have access to digital costumes, and not digital costumes. You want access to costumes and different things within the game that feel good. You want a UI, a good interface that makes sense. You want things to flow and just kind of make some sense. Everything together as a package. And I think Street Fighter 4 was the best package that we've ever had. So if you look at like Street Fighter 2, one of the best games ever made. I mean, fantastic. But content and at its time, it was a beautiful game. It was beautiful, great game. I love it. Street Fighter 1, it was it stood to the test of time. Street Fighter Alphas, all of those games are phenomenal. I love them. I cherish them. I enjoy them. Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. I like that game. I love that game. I think it's great. Is it my favorite Street Fighter? No. But do I love it? Yeah, it's good. It's stupid, but it's good. And when I look at Street Fighter 5, I'm like, no. I didn't like the fight money. I didn't like that feeling of never knowing when content was coming. I didn't like how the game didn't have like ranges that kind of made sense. I didn't like the priority of the buttons. Generally, that was not a well received game. Street Fighter 6, I think, is very flawed. I think there's some things that they're doing right. I think they're releasing the characters at a good rate. I don't think Capcom is being very responsive. You could argue it's extremely balanced, but I think that it's way too much in the competitive, I mean, in the casual light than it is in the competitive light. I think there's way too much casual features and things in that game that just overshadow the competitiveness of the game. And I think both of those things need to exist in a game to be considered timeless, to be considered wonderful. And Street Fighter 4 really did that. So if we think even throughout early Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, Ultra, through the progression, the challenges and the trials within Street Fighter were good. They were very good. They weren't the best, but they gave you a very good idea, and there was a good number of them to prepare you for the game. And the trials were a blend of casual, very simple to do, and difficult to do. And they weren't the best challenges, and maybe, well, actually, I would argue they may be some of the best challenges we've seen in Street Fighter. They were very fun to do. They were challenging enough. Were they the hardest challenges in the world? No, they aren't like BlazBlue or Uniel challenges, but they were a great balance of good and hard and easy. They were very well done. The challenges made you think for a minute, do the trial, think about it, and just do it. And they were useful for the most part to actual gameplay, and they really were well done. So if you think about the challenges in Street Fighter 4 and that process of doing that, and for a majority of the player base, it was good. Maybe not the best players in the world thought they were the greatest trials ever. They weren't super high level, but they were good enough to give you an idea of how to play a character. I think if I go into training mode, and we look at how training mode was made in general throughout the series and the things that you could do, it was a fantastic training mode. It was very well put together. The character select screen, like the whole process and the visuals and the feeling of Street Fighter 4, like the loading screen was cool. It was simple. It had a nice retro artsy appeal. The visuals and everything was generally very well received. So if you look at Street Fighter 5, for example, visuals well received, people were like, right? Street Fighter 6's visuals very good, but I don't think Street Fighter 6's visuals and art style is better than 4's art style. It has this retro appeal that, it looks old school, but also kind of not. But back to what I was saying with training mode. Training mode at its time was very good. We were able to set counter hits. We were able to set stun and super combo gauge and all the gauges, attack data, inputs. You could see inputs on the screen. You could set dummy. You could set, I don't know if you could always set network simulation. That might have been a new thing. But it was one menu, and you button configure command list, change your characters. You can reload and load certain areas and aspects of the game. And you could also just look at attack data and kind of do that. But it also left you with the ability to explore and not really have the frame bar at the bottom, kind of like Street Fighter 6 does. So it allows you to still explore to a level in the training mode. It wasn't just, well, we're going to tell you exactly what every frame is here. It left a little bit to your imagination for you to learn, for you to explore, for you to experiment and explore the game within the training mode, as opposed to it telling you every single thing. The only thing that could have been maybe improved would be cool to see the hitboxes, but overall as an experience, if you load up training mode even today's day and age, it kind of holds up. And it does a pretty good job of allowing the player, to test damages, to test things, to try scenarios, and have some form of success. And I feel this training mode was very simple, but it was also complex enough to be considered good. It was complex enough to be like, yeah, that was a good training mode. I think the story, like the arcade mode, was solid enough. Like you played 8 levels, and you had a beginning movie, and then you had an outro little cutscene, and it was fine. It wasn't like play 2 or 3 levels and then you're done and here's some stupid clip like Street Fighter 5 was. It was a joke. It was due to, and it wasn't like Third Strike where it's like just go through arcade and then you get an ending, which is great, um, which is very very great. But there was it was a good amount of single player, and then you had um, what do you call it? Your multiplayer online, which was you pick your character, you hop into the lobby and you hit OK and you pick a character. And you just see the person there, and there's no going into this lobby. Let me find you. Let me go to the thing. Let me enter your username on the Capcom network. Let me creating hurdles. There was no hurdles. It was just okay. Are you on my thing? Great. Are you using the same platform I have? Great. Then we can play. Oh, you're not on my network. We're not gonna play. Yeah, and I guess there's a trade to that, but I liked the simplicity of what's your username? I'll find you. I'll add you. Let's play. And it was just very simple to do that. It was very easy to navigate online and find someone. And this was a very good game for its time online. It was so fun, and it was so easy to play. People it's just all right. I'll add you. Yep, I see you in the lobby. I'll make the lobby. Bye. It was such a simple experience. There was nothing complex about it at all. It wasn't, I'm going to go to this arcade cabinet. Okay, what room are you in? Oh, I'm in this room. How do I send an invite? Let me hit the analog, and then I got to go to this network button. And then it wasn't like that. It was so simple. And the whole experience of Street Fighter 4 was just wonderful. We had Capcom listening to the fans generally. When we wanted to nerf Shoryuken FADC, they did it. They eventually added Hugo, Rolento, Poison, and those characters. They nerfed Sagat. They went from Street Fighter 4. They nerfed that. They nerfed Akuma. They nerfed Cammy. They tried to make changes and communicate throughout the experience of Street Fighter 4. You felt like, okay, Capcom's trying. They're listening to us. Okay, they're gonna make You're gonna make Super Street Fighter 4, and they're gonna nerf Sagat. Okay, great. That's awesome. We needed that. Or okay, now we're gonna make Yoon and Yang nerfed. Okay, Yoon was clearly dumb. You guys trolled us. You made him really strong. Okay, you're gonna listen to us, and we're gonna nerf him. Okay, moving on. Like you felt like what they were doing behind the scenes of the game was also very well received, and everything was kind of flowing in a direction of, all right, we're going to stay on top of this game competitively, while also for the new gamers, for the new casual market, making a game where they could do, jab, 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 making combos somewhat easier, and also for the hardcore people, giving us one-frame links, giving us difficult combos and things we could do, giving Ibuki super jump cancel to ultra, and giving Sea Viper like very, very timing specific jump cancel seismos and things like that. Like the game had so much for everyone, and it was never too little for the hardcore player base, and it was never too little for the casual fan base. Everything kind of came together and worked really well, and it came at a time where that's all we wanted, is everybody to come together and just play some Street Fighter. And overall, the game had a wonderful package. It had a good training mode. It had good trials. It had a solid multiplayer online experience. It had a solid arcade mode. It had a very good training mode. And none of these things were the best we've ever seen, but it was all good. It was all good. And that's the point that I'm making about, I think Street Fighter 4 might be the best Street Fighter we've ever had, because it all clicked and it all came together, and the community at this time, 2007 to we'll say 2014, was very thriving. There was Ultra Street Fighter 4, there was Super Street Fighter 2 HDR Remix, there was Super Street Fighter 4 on the Nintendo 3DS, there was so many ports of this on the PS4 and the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and it was constantly being updated, and it was constantly being updated for the better of the game. So Street Fighter 4 to Super Street Fighter 4 was a very welcomed change. We got 10 new characters, and we were like, holy shit, this is going to be fun. I want to play Juri. Let's play fucking Cody and Ibuki and Guy and oh my god, new character with a completely new style. Hakan, this is cool. Like, yes, and then you know what? The balance change from Arcade Edition to from Super Street Fighter 4 to Arcade Edition, all of those characters that were not good upon launch, like Cody, like Dudley, like Ibuki, they got buffs. They were improved, and we were listened to. Like, oh, cool, you made those shitty characters better. Like, thanks. This is gonna be more fun for me to use Dudley because he's better now. That's all I wanted. Thanks. Or a guy. My target combo used to whiff on the crouching characters. Thanks for making that better. Like, thank you. And they listened to the things that we wanted. And then, okay, you can come out too strong. Thanks, got it. Guess what? He's nerfed. We're going to change that because that's what you guys wanted. And they listened to the people. And they cared about where the game was headed and what we were saying to them. And then Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out. I think that's when, sure, Shoryuken FADC got nerfed, or that might have been Arcade Edition, 2012. I don't remember, but it was changed. Things were changed. We got Rolento and Hugo and all those characters that were in Cross Tekken. They kind of scammed us a little on that, but they did it. They put those characters in the game. They listened. They're like, okay, fine, we're putting them in, whatever. And that's what Street Fighter 4 was. It was overall a package where they were listening to what was happening and what people felt about the game. And it created a wonderful game. It created a game that we wanted to play. We were excited to play. We went to tournaments to play it because it was fun. And we didn't go to tournaments to play it just because it was the new game with money, a la Street Fighter 5 and 6. We played it because it was actually a fantastic game. And people loved it of all skill levels, whether you were a low-level person or you were a high-level player. People enjoyed playing the game. And that's why I think Street Fighter 4 might be the best game that we've ever seen in Street Fighter, because it brought everything together, and it all was good enough, and it all was great.